The Match Ball.
Hello, this is the Match Ball. It's streamed live for our brave, hardy souls, the TSB Plus members who are joining us on the live stream. If you're listening on the podcast afterwards, why not join them and you can enjoy our searing analysis and joy at the absolute mess that is Leeds United on a night like tonight. 3-0 against Villa. I should say, Levi Solicitors bring you the podcast as well. 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan, Michael and Moscow with you straight out of Ellen Road and into the studio. Just round the corner. That was pathetic, wasn't it? Absolutely toothless and pathetic.
I have nothing good to say.
I've got nothing to say.
Okay, see you later. Thank you, everyone.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, it was shit. Absolutely shit. Every single player was bad. Every single passage of play was bad. The defence was bad. We could not string two passes together. I thought the players looked to have given up by the end as well.
Didn't do a huddle today, did they?
Just twatting it down. Towards the end, it's like, just fuck it. Just put it into the corner and let's get out. Let's just get out of here.
We've gone from the best XG we've had all season to the lowest XG in 5.5 years. So that's our current curve, the upward trajectory we're on. The new manager bounce.
It lasted one game.
It lasted half a game.
It lasted one game that we lost. Brilliant.
We're in a lot of trouble, aren't we? We are in a world of trouble, and I think the only thing that saves us now is
Bielsa coming back.
Is other teams being worse than us. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all I've got tonight.
We're quite lucky that we've got Norwich still to play because we'll beat them. We've still got Watford to come.
Yeah, we've got to go there.
That'll be easy. I mean, Watford are terrible now. Look at them. Hodgson hates them all, so that'll be fine. So 2 wins straight away there, and it should all feel a lot better after Sunday when we beat Norwich. But do
you think we'll beat Norwich?
I hope so.
Do you have any degree of confidence after that?
I mean, no. But I mean, the worrying thing about that tonight is that in my sort of wish to embrace Jesse Marsh and all his new ideas, I'd spent time watching lots of videos and reading lots of things about him. There's one particular webinar that he did with some coaches that you can watch on YouTube, and that was like an hour and a bit of him with some coaching ideas. And the worrying thing is I saw them all tonight. We did all that. Didn't work. And it was also, it was bollocks to watch. And I think lots of the things that, because you could feel the crowd getting twitchy about certain things, and the problem is going to be that lots of those things are the things that he tells the players to do. So all those kind of chipped balls across the penalty area,
which were all shit.
That's part of the plan. The fact that we don't have any width, we don't have any plan. If you're the fullback on the far side, you're supposed to be in the half space. The Germans have a word for it. Everything there's a German word for it.
Is it the half space?
Pretty much.
Yep.
And the one that really so that's why we've got no width anymore, is because they always have to stay in. So even if we're looking for a switch, and that's why Pascal Struijk will quite often send it sailing over the head of a player on the other side.
He should really have realised Stuart Dallas wasn't on that wing.
Well,
I mean, he did do it.
It's all new. It's all new, isn't it?
This is the problem. He's following the plan, and that to me looked like a set of players who don't know the plan or are not capable of executing it. So
all the plan's pretty easy to play against because they were doing the plan in lots of ways. They had given up. They did give up on it quite early. It was telling at 1-0, 60 minutes. I noticed that the Allen manched in, where they go all in. The second part, he has a German word for it.
Bless you.
SARD is his acronym for you sprint all together, and then you go all the way in, and the second one picks up the ball. That stopped with half an hour to go when it was still 1-0. The press was just not working at all. One person was going, and other players was kind of going, good luck, Dan James, with that. So that's already fallen down. And that's the whole idea, is one of the things that, I mean, this sounds like I'm tearing his game to shreds, but I don't know what else to do after watching it tonight.
It deserves it, though, because that was pathetic. And if there's a game plan there, it's shit and it didn't work.
One of the things he talked about, well, there's two things I'll talk about quickly. One is that sometimes it's a good idea to give the ball away because you can then win it back and attack, which to me just sounds like, I mean, it's a very Neil Warnock way of looking at the world, of just like, stick it up there. And the other sort of vaguely Warnock one, which I think really let us down tonight, he talks about if you're supposed to head for the penalty area, penalty spot at all times. He says that if you can't see a pass, just bang it there anyway, and something might happen. And so many times the players took that as the easy option. I was just like, well, he said that if we can't think of anything better to do, we'll just do that, and that's fine. And it could work. It's you try to cause some chaos, you win the ball back. It has merit. You watch all these things and you read about them and you think they sound great, but then you watch Rafinha, who is absolutely brilliant. He's got so much quality, so much skill, so much ability. Just deciding, just bang it at the penalty area. He said that's fine. I can get away with that. I think that's the problem that we've immediately come up against, is that the players have found something now that they can get away with, whereas under Bielsa, I feel like I should be shot for comparing it to Bielsa, but what the hell, his name was being sung at 3-0. I'm not the only one who's thinking a week ago things were bad, but they weren't this bad. There wasn't the same places to hide. The man-to-man thing kind of exposes you. You have to watch your man, and if you're not with him, then you're not doing your job, and it's absolutely clear to everybody. And we've seen performances where we've been beaten. We were probably better against Liverpool at 5-0 down than we were against Villa at 1-0. And it's because there's a way, I fear that it's because there's a way of slacking off now. They can just take some easy options. We don't have to press. Because if you're marking their winger, you've got no choice but to follow them around all the time. So you have to run and run and run. Whereas if you're just waiting off and it's like one person leads the press, you can kind of go, don't fancy it now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because there were times when I was thinking, how can I distill this into something? And I thought, what's happened is we've gone from a manager who would always have us creating chances, even when we are defensively porous like we have been over the last month. We've been absolutely terrible. And I sat on here and said something has to change. I'd liked us to have tightened up at the back, quite frankly. So we've given that away for something tonight where we haven't tightened up at the back, but also we created nothing going forward. I think that's what you're getting at, isn't it? Because I saw the same thing. I saw them trying to they try and play balls into like the half spaces as well, what you call the half spaces. And because they're not tactically attuned to it yet, it didn't work. And far more often than not, they were just playing percentage balls into areas where they were told to. It's not their fault they're following the plan. It is what it is now, isn't it?
We just need a new plan now.
It wasn't just the percentage balls, though. It was the really simple...
Well, Rodrigo was an absolute...
really simple 15, 20-yard balls that any professional footballer would expect to make. But the amount of them we just passed straight to Aston Villa was abysmal. The first half, Harrison and Rodrigo, it felt like every time they got the ball, we lost it pretty much instantly. I've looked it up, actually. Harrison, 38 touches, lost possession 19 times.
Right.
And one of the reasons will be is because when you get the ball, you're not told to go wide into space, head for the penalty spot. So what do Villa have in front of their penalty spot? They got Tyrone Mings, I don't know who else was playing in their defence, and then Louise in front of them, wasn't it? So all you have to do to stop it is just compress that area in front of their D.
But there were a lot of times we gave the ball away, not hitting that percentage ball, literally trying to pass it to Robin Koch.
It's no coincidence that Rodrigo got yanked at half time, because he was absolutely abysmal today, wasn't he? He was terrible. And you don't give yourself the best chance. We talked about the stuff that Leeds have been doing badly in the last few weeks, which was not executing Bielsa's plan particularly well. But it just multiplied tonight, didn't it? Like the basic stuff, you don't give yourself the best chance possible if you give the ball away relentlessly, do you?
The centre of the pitch was, maybe it's been a problem all season, but just terrible. He was rubbish. Cox still looks like a centre-back playing in midfield. I'm not a massive fan of that in general. Forshaw, to his credit, I thought he didn't hide, at least. He didn't Forshaw. He kept actually trying to get the ball and do something with it, but was also rubbish and gave it away countless times. Struijk was on one, I thought, at the back. Ayling wasn't any better.
Who fit? One of the good things at Leicester, that we just started clearing the ball. That felt necessary after the weeks before. Why is he dribbling on our own penalty spot constantly? Ayling. Just the good thing he did at Leicester was just get rid of it and get rid of danger. And instead, we're just trying to set them up for another chance in our own penalty area. Carry on.
There was loads of that tonight. I think they were trying to force it far too much in that first half. You saw them just playing inaccurate passes because they were so desperate to make it work. But this is what you get when you're down at this end of the table. It's pressure, and they're starting to feel it, and they want to impress the new coach. They want to execute the new plan, and it all just felt forced and rushed and untidy.
And we shouldn't forget Leicester, because Leicester was decent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We restricted them, so everything that I feel like I've just shredded Marsh after 2 minutes. But what the hell? He can fix it, probably. He better. But so Leicester had good things in it, but that's the thing, is Leicester felt like, when I'm talking about Ayling hoofing the ball clear and other players about hoofing the ball clear, it was like, cool, we're in a relegation battle, we need to stop defending, so let's not take any chances at the back, just get it away, and that's fine, we'll rebuild, and it'll be a little bit basic for a while. And I don't know what the hell got into them tonight, where it's just, let's not do that, let's try to keep it as dangerous as possible in our own 6-yard box. I like a Melier Cruyff turn, but like, just don't all of you do it at the same time.
We got lucky with one of those, didn't we, as well? When
nearly 4-0.
Watkins nearly took it off him, didn't he?
Oh, well, that
was the first half.
Him running out, and it's just a missed kick. It's not even... mistakes are fine, aren't they? But it's kind of when you are bringing stuff upon yourself, when you don't need to, like, just hoof it. I am happy now to see you hoof. So hoof.
Firpo, we need to talk about him. If we're talking about Rodrigo, we also need to talk about Firpo. Tonight, he just looks like an absolute disaster of a footballer.
Yep.
And a terrible purchase at that.
Yep, and now an injured one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels almost harsh to go in on him too much, because he is now badly injured by the looks of it. But Jesus Christ, what have we bought? Like every time he's shown signs of maybe becoming acceptable, he just has a game like that. I don't think he did anything right. He was out of position all the time. He failed to win more or less all of his challenges. Gave the possession away countless occasions. He's just an absolute bomb scare of a footballer in pretty much all senses. You don't want him to have the ball. You don't want people running at him. I don't know what you do with him in the current state of him.
He's another one that was all right against Leicester, though, wasn't it? Everyone's like, oh, Firpo.
He was all right. Well, it felt like against... I guess it goes back to what you were saying about allowing them to hoof it. It felt like we didn't expect too much of him against Leicester. Whereas tonight,
he was getting forward and it was fine.
Whereas tonight it was more that he had to do some stuff, and he's not so good when he has to do stuff. Give him the football, problems. Seems to be the main issue.
And it seems to be, it's not necessarily his feet that are the problem, it's the connection between his head and his feet. I think it might be severed. And it might just be,
was the injury that bad?
I was going to say in a very literal sense it might be tonight.
I didn't actually see what happened to him. I saw the replay of the tackles, but I couldn't work out why he was so badly hurt. So I don't really know what was...
it's just everything just feels... It just feels like everything is a failure tonight. It feels like last summer was a failure. It feels like replacing Bielsa was a failure. The tactics all season have been a failure. The transfer policy has been a failure. Everything. It feels like everything has just been brought to bear tonight. All of it. The whole thing feels like a big steaming pile of shit. And I know if we win on Sunday, everyone else has lost tonight. Like the important ones, that's fine. Burnley have still got another game in hand, whatever.
Everton might have a points deduction, that would help.
Yeah, I mean, look, we will. Our hope at the minute tonight, the only hope I have is everyone else being shit.
The way I'm seeing it, though, is between them, Everton and Burnley have got 5 games in hand on us.
Yeah, one of which is against each other, though.
But if they win even one of those, either of them win one of those games, they're above us.
They don't even know when they're going to play them, though, do they?
I know, but they've got between them, they have a lot of games, and they need to win. Well, Everton need 1 point to go above us.
Yeah,
and Burnley need 3.
We'll win on Sunday.
It's a major problem.
But
if we don't win on Sunday, we are
the problem
down.
Tonight is that is removing Bielsa removes any kind of cover for it.
Yep.
You know, we've had huge defeats under Bielsa, but people have not left early and booed.
Yeah,
and I think tonight, even after we could have lost at Leicester, I think it would have been 3-0 tonight. And I get the feeling maybe I'm giving Leeds fans more credit, or I'm just a relentless optimist, but I think it would have been more of a, grit your teeth, brush it off, come on, hope we win the next game. Whereas it's there now to be wielded against the people who sacked Bielsa, that now everything from here on is on that. So the summer's gone, the tactics before tonight are gone. It's now all about the golden future under Jesse Marsh that they've decided should begin now, without giving him any of the things that would help him in the transfer market or in terms of time to teach the players to do what he wants to do. And you could feel it in Elland Road tonight, that the number of times that Marcelo Bielsa was his name was sung. People held back, I think, but 3-0, it was absolutely clear that that was the loudest noise in the stadium. It's also people making a beeline for the directors' seats to tell them what they think about it. And the worry is that with the timing of the decision and the way it went down as well, it's like, we've all played Jenga.
Yeah.
They've just taken out a vital piece and now it's collapsing.
It did feel in the stadium toxic in a way it hasn't for a very, very long time.
He's right about when he's saying about removing the shield. It felt like whatever it was, whatever mystical aura that Bielsa had, that kind of some sort of shroud over the stadium or whatever, like a control. It's like almost like mystical controlling energy, isn't it, about how we all felt. We were all prepared to take the pastings thinking it might get better. That's all been removed.
Well, it's about credit in the bank, isn't it?
Yeah.
As much as anything. It's what we always talked about with players, that if you've been good for 10 games and you have a bad one, people kind of go, well, if your first game is bad, second one, if you're Junior Firpo, essentially, you have no credit in the bank, so people are not willing to let you have that slack. Bielsa, because he had 3 really good seasons, this season has been bad, and it's been bad with him in charge. It's not a case that we've sacked him and it's got terrible. We have been bad for quite a lot of this season, but it was Bielsa. People let him away with it. Whereas in this, we went, I don't know, was it 2-0? I think it was probably 2-0 that it really turned, and people just basically went, fuck off.
Yeah,
everyone. In the first half, the referee deflected somewhat from a bad performance, because I thought he was bad, and he did seem to give some weird decisions.
Yeah,
not that it made a difference to the result, but I think it just felt like we'd gone back in time to a degree, because it was like, okay, we're going to blame the ref, then we're going to shout at our own players, then we're going to go all upset, and that's it. And
that's the most demoralising aspect of this, actually. It's that the sense that we're just undoing all the hard work, all the magic that was sprinkled.
And it's not only about magic, and it's not only about an aura, it's about that we've been through these kind of periods under Bielsa in every season. We've had tough times, and he's fixed them. And the idea, instead of letting him fix it this season, we've just gone for a completely different thing, and it looks like we've taken all the ideas out of the players' heads. At least if you were still doing the same things as before, you have the routine. You're not trying to do too much. Marsh has been talking probably about he's not trying to give too much information to the players.
New topics.
They don't need it, because what they need to concentrate on is playing better. So theoretically or hypothetically, if Bielsa was still here, the players would have one thing to do: play better at the things that they know what they're doing. Now they have 2 things to do, which is learn how the new manager wants to play and then get better at that. So it's a step backwards from that point of view, and you hope Leicester would be the springboard and they would take it all on really quickly, and it would come together very well, and tonight would be exciting, and maybe we wouldn't win, but it would be either a draw or an honourable defeat. Instead, it just looks like it's not worked at all, and so we've got Friday and Saturday to sort that out in time for Norwich. Whereas, again, what the hell, I don't feel like I'm the only person who'll just be banging on about this, shouldn't have sacked Bielsa tonight. Whereas if it was Bielsa still there, it's just like, right, we reset, we know what we're doing on Sunday, we just got to do it better. Whereas I don't know what he can do. I mean, they were doing all this stuff and it's just
didn't work.
Well, it didn't work, and then also you're looking at, well, what else have we got? What's the next idea? If every time we go running at the penalty spot and try and do little 1-2s, we just give them the ball back because there's loads of players there and we can't get through, what else do? We can't go wide because that's verboten, and then that's it, and then we just stop because we're 3-0 down. Where, I mean, it is daft, and it was always forlorn, but the last 10 minutes of any beating under Bielsa, we were still trying to score one, weren't we? Whereas I don't know where a goal was going to come from.
What worries me about this performance as well is that part of the reason for sacking Bielsa was that apparently the players were absolutely knackered, and like there's many a rumour about Rodrigo and Rafinha being pissed off with it and the amount of training, and so that basically the new players who were not used to doing Bielsa stuff, if it needed to change to make their lives better, to make it easier for them, maybe be a bit more normal, you'd think they might look like they gave a shit. Whereas Rodrigo didn't, and Rafinha was sulking.
I don't think it's that they don't give a shit. I think their confidence is very low and they're just not good enough. Quite simply.
Rafinha is supposed to be playing in the Champions League next season, so how can you not be good enough?
But they're not good enough to execute the new tactics like quickly. Whatever those
Champions League player be. I'm not having a go at you. I'm having a go at him.
I know. I don't know.
If he wants to play in the Champions League, he'd better be able to.
But then you saw it at Moscow. You saw
way to play.
You saw his head go down, and he got that stupid
after about 10 minutes.
But you got that stupid booking as well.
It's not like his head went down then. His head went down after about 10 minutes into the game. And you're right that taking out of. I don't think it's a good idea if you're trying to really screw it to the end of the season, really nail it on, to take everything down a notch. We'll just relax. We've been working too hard. Let's take the pressure off. Take it a bit easier in training. Take it all down a notch, and now they all look fucked because I don't know if it's like you release the tension. The tension is the thing that was keeping them running.
Okay, like nervous energy almost. Yeah.
And then when you stop, it is like stopping after if you start running. You can keep running. If you stop running and you say, right, start running again, it's the hardest thing in the world to do.
I'm going to make you get outside and run after this.
I can, I'll keep going if I have to. But if you make me stop and ask me to start again,
can I just
absolutely no chance.
Ask about Radrizzani actually, because it's been mentioned in the comments on YouTube, and you're over that side of the ground, and were people making a beeline for the director's box?
Not that I could see, but Phil Hay and Graham Smith, who were 2 rows in front of me, were both saying that, and certainly the shouts from around the place, a few people putting on American accents and saying, "Don't worry, guys, this will all be fine." I think the feeling is definitely that it's on them. They've sacked the. I'm hoping this isn't the parable of the golden goose. Bielsa turns up and gives them everything, and then they decide they know better, and no, we'll get somebody that's better than Bielsa, and this is the guy they've chosen, and it's not. It has to be. Well,
that's what we have to say. It is on the evidence of tonight, because the game was good at Leicester. It is. We are talking on the evidence of tonight, but you're only as good as your last game, as the saying goes. So based on the evidence tonight, that's how it appears. We've got another chance to set that right on Sunday, though. I mean, just to address one thing before you jump in, Michael, sorry. ML Morgan is asking in the comments, what exactly does Rodrigo need to understand? He needs to understand how to pass to his teammates.
The pressure on the board as well, on a night like tonight, also comes very definitely from the way Rodrigo plays and the way Firpo plays, because they are players that Victor Orta and the club have identified and said, yes, these are the men we're going to spend our money on. They will improve us. And you look at that and you think, wow, that's either something has changed massively with the way they are now playing versus the videos and the games you watched, or you've made a terrible
I do think sometimes
here.
Orta maybe, and maybe we're being unfair, I don't know, because I don't know the exact story, but it feels like he loves a vanity signing, doesn't he? And that's what you look at when you see Firpo, when you see Rodrigo. That's just based on
I think Firpo was probably one of those where, because he does kind of like a player who's had failures but has talent. So people like,
I can change him, I can fix him up.
People like Lasogga and Saiz, people who at certain moments you went, bloody hell, really good, really good.
Well, it's almost undervalued in the transfer market because of a fault.
Exactly. John Kevin Augustin looked really good when he was 19, 21 or whatever, had sort of dropped out of favour, not really working, and you think, well, if he can play like he did, if you can make Junior Firpo play like the player he was when Barcelona signed him in the first place, then we've got a really good player, and for that money, quite cheap, etc. And when it doesn't work, which you have to say it mainly hasn't. I mean, Koch might be a good signing if he's ever played at centre back. I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's a midfielder either, and I'm sick of seeing him in there.
And he's certainly not a midfielder who can control a Premier League game. He might be good at it, but he's not up to the required standard at the minute to get us out of this shit. We don't know yet, do we? We might just have enough, but
we're in a lot of shit.
There's a budget element to that as well, isn't there? I don't know if Firpo is the best left back available for 15 million. Could well be the case. And sort of when you set even Rodrigo at 30 million, a player with that kind of CV, you would expect to cost more. So I don't know if it's vanity or if it is just like that feeling of kind of either opportunism or just looking at who is available at the price that you're willing to pay. But there's an element there of kind of running before we can walk, which brings me back to kind of sacking Bielsa. Oh, because, you know, if we are dealing with the budget that we have, and Bielsa always was saying that, you know, I don't want them to try, and I don't expect them to sign players of a higher quality or a higher price because we can't afford them because we're second year out of the Championship. You've got a coach who's absolute raison d'etre. The one thing he's brought to Leeds is making players play better than their worth and any quality that you've seen before. So maybe Rodrigo and Firpo have actually been playing much better than they otherwise would have. And now they're reverting to like how bad they actually are. I mean, it's sometimes you look around, and this is me now trying to be reasonable about the situation and bring everything back to an even keel. But you know, you look at the money Everton have spent on their players, and you know, have they got better players than we do? Not particularly, and they're certainly not performing as a team since Frank's gone there. And you know, the amount of money that Newcastle has spent, like fucking Joe Linton for 40 million or whatever it was, and the absolute shower of shame that they keep spending huge amounts of money. And even Aston Villa, you know, Emi Buendia, 40 million sitting on the bench. What's he doing? What's the whole point of that? Championship player, 40 mil, and then he's not good enough, so they just get Coutinho instead. It's lazy, and I don't like them. And I don't like them beating us 3-0.
I think what you're moaning at is that you don't like the system, and we touched on it this week actually in the shows, didn't we? But you can't really do anything to change the system because the system has meant that they've beaten us 3-0 tonight. So I don't think we can't dig out other clubs for it, can we? We can only look at ourselves and say they've got it wrong in so many areas, unfortunately. But you know,
I think I'm putting it into like a we are probably where we should be situation. Second year out of the Championship. And we're up against, you know, Villa.
I disagree. It didn't have to be like this, though, did it? It didn't have to be. But we have ended up here by virtue of probably a number of factors. I don't think we can't point it all at the board, just the same as you can't point it all at Bielsa, which is why I've described it in recent weeks as like a systematic failure. The system that we have put in place has taken us in a particular direction, and it's not a nice one at the minute.
And I don't know how many teams come up out of the Championship and have 2 easy seasons in the Premier League to start with. So sort of the shit time is on schedule.
Chris Wood scored tonight, by the way.
About time. How much did you pay for him? It was
25 million
pounds, 1 goal. So that's what 25 million gets you. So in that light, Firpo, absolute bargain of the century, isn't he? It's a joke, the whole thing.
It is all Captain Hindsight stuff, isn't it? But you know, you do look at the assessment of Alioski at the end of last year and not being worth, I don't know what he is now receiving in Saudi Arabia. It'll have been a very good pay rise. It might be 20 grand more than we were offering him, and you can't blame him for taking it.
I think it was worked out as like high 30s or 40 grand a week, which is not absolutely astronomical, but it's tax free. Whereas if you put him on similar wages here, you'd have to pay him like 50 or 60 here because of the tax to. But I mean, get the same.
Yeah, if you retrospectively now, you're looking at it and saying that's probably what Firpo's earning, and we paid a fee for him, and he's worse, and he's less attuned to the system, and he can't play a range of positions either. He can barely play left back from what I've seen of him. Bamford was all right. He had a few all right touches. Nice to see him.
Did he? And I like that one that he put high, wide and handsome when he got a chance.
He did one nice thing where he got fouled. That was okay.
Did you stay until the end?
Yeah, I wanted to hear the full-time reaction.
Did you stay, so you heard when the players went over the Kop and they got booed?
Yeah, they got booed but then applauded. And actually it was quite interesting when Bamford got round to the East Stand where I started walking down by that point, so I got a lot closer to the front just by the exit. And I don't know who it was that was saying something to him that maybe somebody was telling him to fuck off or whatever. And he made some sort of sarcastic gesture like, come on, what? And then, come on, like, and he did an exaggerated applause, like as if to say, applaud. And I thought, well, what applaud what? That was pathetic.
I took the diplomatic option of just staring at them. I didn't boo and I didn't clap. I just stood and looked.
Yeah, I just
went, right.
That's it. We're applauding. What are we applauding?
Yeah, well, exactly. I don't feel like
what, because you're running around for 40 grand a week.
Not running around very much either. To be quite honest, it was fairly half-hearted in a lot of it. Was the running around? Couldn't even do that bit.
It did feel like a defeated crowd, and it looked like a defeated team tonight. That was I think the harshest bit. And like you say, when you take away all the stuff that Bielsa brought, And this is not about, wishing for him back.
I wish he was back.
No, it's wishing for an alternative. It's just wishing for an alternative.
Just wishing for
better.
Yeah.
Marcelo Bielsa.
And it's not about being entitled either. It's just gutting, isn't it, to see the weaknesses in the squad and the weaknesses in the system and all of it just collapsing at the same time. You just hope for better, don't you?
Well, I mean, that's the way it's been sold to us, isn't it?
Well, we'll see, won't we? I mean,
they didn't
sack again on Sunday.
They didn't sack Bielsa so it would get worse.
No, but it has. And people could argue that changing a manager this late in the season is too late to implement new ideas. But I guess
to look at it another way, was it any worse than our performance at Everton?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I think you're misremembering the Everton game. We were terrible, and they could have scored loads more than they did. But I don't know. We've played. I'm trying to make the point. I suppose we've played badly in games we should have won this season.
Yeah.
Before today. But yeah, the kind of idea that there's a new manager bounce and that new ideas will breathe new life into that
He's
team.
just going to smoothly build upon the best of Bielsa, and we will evolve immediately to the next level. And I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, we're kind of, because of the whole pressure on, or the whole decision making around the Marsh appointment, which is in the programme tonight, about the decision, the requirement to move on from Marcelo Bielsa at the end of the season, which I would like to rewind and work out exactly when that became a requirement, because it seems to have been decided long before we got as bad as we have been. Just, we really need to do better than the best manager that we've had for 25 years. Marsh has been chosen as the person to build upon everything Bielsa did at this club and move us forward. That was what was supposed to come in the summer and do that. And I don't know what part of that performance tonight is supposed to give me any kind of expectation of, if we stay up and we gamble like spring lambs into the Premier League next season, what am I watching? Just, penis formation down the middle, wide at the back, shaft through the...
It's been, long-time listeners will remember the penis formation.
Yeah, it was one of Warnock's, wasn't it?
And just pinging the ball at the penalty spot, which I think was another one of Warnock's, and no width ever, and see what we can do. And that'll be the Brave New World next season. So I hope he's got more than that, is the thing, because it does all, it's very successful for Red Bull. This is what they teach everybody to do, and it's going to be the big change in football in the world, and it's all going to be great. And Bielsa, he's just crazy, he doesn't know what he's doing. Nobody's going to do that man marking stuff.
Let's not get into Red Bull, because I think the ruling is this coming week. By the way, the case is being heard, so we may be having to shell out to them 18 million quid, which is honestly, imagine we lose on Sunday.
Can we?
It gets around to sort of Tuesday, Wednesday. That happens, and we lose.
We won't lose on Sunday. We'll beat Norwich.
Rodrigo's worth 29 million. Why don't you have him instead of the money?
Can we give you it in lieu?
Exactly. There you go.
Man.
Well, let's call it quits.
We're into that awful. I'm just looking at the comments now.
Are people watching
on YouTube? Yeah.
God bless you.
Thank you for doing so. Actually, it's weirdly higher than I thought. And we're just in that. We're going to be in this no man's land now. A cycle of Bielsa would have fixed it. No, he wouldn't. Until the end of the season now, until we know either way.
Doesn't help, does it?
And we'll still never have an answer to that. We will never know. We'll never know.
The difficulty is as well,
and I hate it.
We've been here loads of times as well. It's like, it feels, obviously it's what they achieved and the style of football and everything was very different, but it's a bit like when we got rid of Grayson because we thought we could still get in the playoffs, and Neil Warnock had got this experience and he was going to play a more pragmatic style and he'd sort of defence out, and he came in and very quickly you went, oh no, it's no better. In fact, actually, it's probably a little bit worse.
And it's a bit like when we got rid of Thomas Christensen and brought in Paul Heckingbottom. He's going to, with new ideas from Sheffield United.
We've even had with ball, without ball, haven't we, this week?
Yeah. It was a big thing of the same thing. And I always, I don't know how, I don't think, Christensen never got the chance to turn it around, did he? I think that's...
He also didn't really look like turning it around was the other thing.
No, but then it didn't get better under Heckingbottom. In fact, it got loads worse. So what's the...
I've had enough, lads. I need to go to Asda. Here we go.
Associated Dairies, as they used to be known.
Marsh, final word to him. We're still digging hard. I'm not afraid of it, whatever it is. Maybe that clown that lives in the drains. I don't know.
I would say as well.
And I will do everything I can to help these guys.
Just for people who are keeping track, that video is 4 minutes 10, which is about twice as long as the Bielsa one used to be, even with the translations.
It doesn't matter, Moscow.
Stop talking, man. Do something. Get them playing better. Make us beat Norwich. He's not actually started his post-match press conference yet. So probably see if he's still chipping away at
I hope he doesn't try to pick
1 in the morning.
positives out of it. I feel like it's not the time. Positive for Tyler Roberts. He wasn't to blame at all for this.
Yeah. Referee was our best defender at one point, wasn't he, today?
Got in the way a bit, didn't
Twice, yeah. Well done.
Yeah, credit to the linesman as well, who was in front of the family stand, who was just not allowing the ball to go out of play. Just stood very close to it as the ball was out of play twice and just went, just play on. It's fine. Not bothered.
Do you like our corners now?
Oh, they're good, aren't they? You can tell they've been practicing them. That hit the man at the near post is a great policy.
I was struck by Marsh in his press conference saying that you just have to believe in them.
Believe in what?
Set pieces. Yeah, set pieces is all about mentality, and like a real big part of it is just believing in what you're doing at a set piece. So yeah, if you just really,
if someone could tell Jack Harrison to believe he can get it over the first man,
PMA.
You can, Jack. You can do it.
Can Rodrigo tell him to believe? Someone told Rodrigo to believe in passing to his teammates that are 3 yards away.
Villa didn't score from a corner, did they?
They didn't, and actually, it was. It was one of
as a positive.
The genuine positive was like I didn't shit myself every time the opposition got a corner.
Obviously, the fact that
they got their first one in 10 seconds of kick-off. But
and the fact they had just acres and acres of space in the box on several occasions. There was one. It always seemed to be on Firpo's side, didn't it? It's hard to defend him for it because he was, as much as he finds defending hard, it was on his side, and I don't know where he was. I'll have to watch it back to try and establish what exactly had happened to him.
Again, straight from the Jesse Marsh webinar, so I feel like an expert now, so watch one video. But if you're on one side of the pitch, don't worry about the other side.
Yeah, I noticed that a few times. There was always a man over on the opposite side.
Because we just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're pressing them in here. We're going to win the ball on this side of the pitch. Don't worry about that. If it gets over there, then I assume we have to do something about it then.
Well, I've seen
this whole thing.
I've seen that same video, Moscow, and I thought that, so I took comfort. I didn't take comfort in it. I tried to take comfort in it in that actually, because we're doing the zonal marking, they then did shift across. I thought, I see. But then, it only takes having to dance past him twice out of 15 times to get them in, doesn't it?
I mean, that's the thing, is that those videos and stuff look great. And watching that, I was like, this could be really exciting. Loads of fun, lots of chaos, and Mike Grella could do it. So how hard can it be? Sorry, Mike, if you're watching. I used to love you.
We just don't have a Mike Grella in this squad.
No, we don't. No. He's had a shout out every press conference. I hope he keeps that up.
Let's finish.
Just looking at the stats on SofaScore, they score people.
I don't
Worst player on the pitch, Firpo. Best player on the pitch, Cash, who was up against Firpo for the majority of it. That probably tells the tale, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we're probably not going to see him next game. Is there any news on Firpo's injury?
No
news on anything. I don't know what Marsh has been doing. It could be maybe there's been a real long huddle in the changing rooms. It's like half hour of huddling, sort it all out.
Wankers.
But we'll. I mean, if they've been doing that in huddle as well, it's private boys' school behaviour, isn't it? Leave that to the rugby lads, I say.
Leeds United circle jerk.
I've had
That's
enough.
Where we'll finish.
You didn't have to be so explicit.
I've had enough, and I'm pressing the button to end the show. Okay,
good.
Well, bless every single one of you.
Thank you.
Particularly the ones who paid for TSB Plus membership to watch this live. You are the real ones.
Thank you.
We need you, and we love you.
So get your feedback in for propaganda.
Heroes beer thin. Oh, we've still got Norwich.
Yeah, I was going to say, just hold fire until we've beaten Norwich, and we are barnstorming, and everything's great. How long? Bamford's had half an hour, so he was ready for 10, ready for half an hour. So what can you do? Half against Norwich? Full match? Do we just go for broke? I mean, they cut to Calvin and Cooper in the stands. I mean, how injured can they be?
I was thinking Calvin with one leg would probably have been better than what we had in there today.
But yeah, something will have to change even purely just to get round Firpo not being there.
Nathan in the comments saying that Marsha said it could be his ACL.
Right, excellent. So he's injured for ages.
New left back though.
We'll see in a bit.
Well, it might mean on the plus side.
I feel bad.
It might mean Ayling can go to right back.
Yes.
Cox can go to centre back.
Yes.
Click can go into midfield.
Yes.
And Dallas, he's still not a left back.
No, but he's, he was great there.
But he's fine.
For a long time.
If it means we can have a reshuffle and people can play in their actual fucking positions for a game, I would be willing to see it.
Llorente on the bench, so he could be back against Norwich. And
I want to stop. People are noticing I'm trying to end this in the comments. You're still going.
I've never been more determined to keep talking.
The few bits that work, like Dan James definitely gets it, doesn't he? This new press, all action stuff. And Joffrey as well.
MCL. It's his MCL, not his ACL.
Still bad.
Still one of his CLs.
What's that? It's manky cruciate.
It's a cruciate.
Lee said, press the button down. I'm hovering on the button.
Is it the medial?
Yeah.
And not the anterior.
No, I don't know.
No, so they're in different places. But Joffrey gets it with the press as well, doesn't he?
Richard's asking when does Asda shut. It's fine. It's open 24 hours. It's fine. I can go all night. But I do have to get up and sort out kids in the morning,
I've got to get up and write a match report. No sympathy from me.
Idiot. No, Lee, Asda doesn't close at 11. It's 24 hours. But it's getting late. And I'm tired.
I don't know why you've almost taught me into going to 24 hours. Should we go together? I've got the one at Castleford.
I'll pop off now. You just keep going.
This is like organising a flash mob, isn't it? Are we all going? Everyone get down to which Asda are you going to, or do you not want to say?
No, I'm going to go to the one at Pudsey.
All right, everybody, Pudsey Asda.
See you down there.
Well, don't leave me alone in Castleford. I'll be knee sliding around there until I get thrown out.
Jay Sampson saying Dan and Putin keen to press the button. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd take a nuclear winter right now.
Yeah. Although I think we go down if it goes to points per game, don't we?
Probably. Fear will stop us achieving our goals. Discipline to stick to exactly what we are trying to do will give us confidence. Fuck off.
God. Is that what you're saying?
End of the show.
The Match Ball.